Sanny Veloo blends raw guitar fire with heart-on-sleeve storytelling, crafting anthems that hit hard and heal deeper. Once banned in Singapore for his punk roots, he rebuilt his voice in Melbourne's rock scene. And now, his debut album captures the sound of survival, spirit, and starting again.
I mean, now that I look back, it actually sounds pretty cool, you know.
It's pretty
But
badass.
but at the time I was in a lot of trouble, like because I was in this punk rock band in Singapore, and we headlined this festival, and a riot broke out during the festival show, and it was crazy.
Welcome to the Optimistical Show, home of the unconventional. If this video found you today, that is synchronicity. I'm your host, Mishat Eco like the earth. Here you will find glimpses and deep dives into unconventional lifestyles. This is a place for the messy and the magic, for the green and groovy, for the cool and the conscious. Let's be wildly optimistic and unabashedly real. This is the Optimistical Show. Shake your ass, but watch your self-awareness. Let's go. Sanny Veloo, welcome to the Optimistical Show. It's such a joy to have you here.
It's a joy to be here. I'm so happy and pretty excited.
So Sanny is coming to us from Melbourne, Australia. It's currently what time there?
It's 5:23 a.m.
It's 5:23 a.m., y'all. He is really helping us out to accommodate when we were able to record. So I just want to extend and appreciate that. Like, you were up
Thank
before
you.
5 a.m. for this. So a little bit of how we know each other. I think I've shared before that I lived in Melbourne, Australia from 2015 to 2020. And I actually don't
Mhm.
remember where we met, but I know we just became fast friends and had a lot of creative overlap and always supported each other's projects, whether it be music, dance, art. And I'm just so grateful that you get to be the first guest on the Optimistical Show.
Oh wow, I didn't know I was the first guest.
You're
I'm
the
honored.
you're the first guest. Yes, I am so
Woohoo!
excited that you're
That's
here.
great.
Yes, it's perfect timing too with your single launch in July. So the first question I like to ask my guest is, what are you optimistic about right now?
I'm optimistic about my life in general. I think just doing all this music is just making me really happy, and I'm looking forward to putting out all my music. By the end of the year, my album comes out, and yeah, I'm just super excited about that stuff.
I'm super excited also. I've known some of the other musical projects that you've been a part of, and I think it's going to be so awesome for your debut album coming out in November. So I want to start with rewinding a little bit, and not everyone can say they were banned by an entire government, but can you take us back to that moment in Singapore? What was it like to find your voice through punk and then have it silenced?
Yeah, well, I mean, now that I look back, it actually sounds pretty cool,
It's pretty
But
badass.
but at the time I was in a lot of trouble, like because I was in this punk rock band in Singapore, and we headlined this festival, and a riot broke out during the festival show, and it was crazy, but it was really punk rock, you know, um, and before we went on stage, the promoter threatened us and said, "You better not use any vulgarities or else." So at the time, I just thought, uh, we went on stage and I just shouted into the microphone like all the vulgarities I knew in five different languages, and it would just seem like the most punk rock thing to do at the time, right? And then the crowd just went nuts, and there was not enough security to handle the crowd, so they crashed the stage, and people stepping my guitar pedals and stuff. It was just crazy. And next thing you know, the power to the festival was cut, and the police had arrived, and we we were arrested, and I was
Wow.
locked up for a day. And the next morning, I was charged with inciting a riot and
Wow.
the violation of the Public Entertainment Act.
And
And it
how
was
old were
it, it was
you?
like that was like in I was like 21 ish, I think. And man, I was in so much trouble, and then we had to surrender our passports, couldn't leave the country. Um, and man, when I went and it came out in the papers and everything, and I was like, oh man, what's my dad gonna say? I was actually more afraid of my father than the police. you know.
No,
And
it's
then
definitely like that.
yeah, it was like that. But you know, after about 6 months, the charges were dropped, and you know, fortunately, I wasn't charged with anything, and I don't have a criminal record. But the band was banned from performing live in the country, and we couldn't play any more shows. We couldn't release our music, you know. So we just kind of just it just kind of came to an end, you know. It rose really fast and then it ended because of just one crazy show.
Wow. That's a wild story. I have been to Singapore. I know they are very strict about some of their rules and their laws. So that could have really, really gone further left. I'm glad that the charges were dropped. And that is such a cool story to be. No one else that I know has ever been banned by a government.
Been
So
banned. Yeah, I know it's kind of I mean it's cool. It turned me into like underground punk rock legend in some circles in Singapore. In those small indie circles, they're like, yeah, that's the guy that got banned, you know.
I think it's really cool too because it's kind of like fuck it. Like you got up there and you were like in your full expression and whatever happens happened. I mean, it turned out all right in the
Yeah,
end, but
pretty
I'm just
much.
like, wow.
Yeah, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because like because of that, I ended up in Australia.
Yep, so I was going to say, was that the turning point that made you leave Singapore?
Yeah, definitely because um, I couldn't be in that band anymore, and I always wanted to write my own music, and so the only option was for me to like join a lame cover band, and I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna be in a cover band, you know, no way. I'm gonna play Hotel California like 4 times every night, you know, no way I'm gonna do that shit, you know." So I was like, "What?" So what I do, you know, and my best friend Wayne, who was the drummer in the band, he was gonna go to Australia to study, and then my parents were like, "Well, you better go study." So I followed my best friend to Australia, and we did came here to do uni. Um, and then once we moved here, we kind of convinced the bass player in the band, Justin, to come and join us, and then we started up the band in Australia again.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
now that you're in Melbourne with the sound that's evolved into something just as powerful, but even more emotionally layered, how did the move and your past shape the sound you're making today?
I think like because when I moved here, I was in a band called the Suns with my two best friends, Wayne and Justin, right? And that band was active for 3 years until like we had a serious tragedy. Like we were on tour and Wayne, my drummer and best friend, he died while we were on tour. He had a heart attack in his sleep,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, it was crazy. And then that whole band ended because of that, right? We couldn't carry on. And then I started another band, which called Emperor, which is with these three Australian guys, and they all had the same name called. They were all called Matt because like Matt is the most common name in every Aussie guy is called Matt. Okay, it's like well most of them are called Matt. So there were three guys in the band called Matt, and um and that band did pretty well. Like we were active for 8 years, and that's the band that brought me to America to tour and all that kind of stuff. And and then after that band ended, then eventually I think we're going to talk about it, but I started a solo project. But this solo project, I think it kind of it's like everything I've done before, it just comes together in this thing. It draws all the elements of a lot of my other bands that I was in, and now I'm just doing it solo. So it's just all come together in a sonic way, a lyrical way, you know.
It's amazing how long, just to hear how long you've actually been doing music. I don't think I realized that in the past, and just like so many different evolutions of the music to
Yeah,
now
I've,
get to
I've
this
been in
solo point.
I've been in a punk band and two punk bands and one rock band, and now I'm doing a solo project. So I've
Amazing.
been in three bands. Yeah.
Very cool. And I feel like one of the most striking parts of your story is that you did walk away from it all just as things were heating up to care for your father. And I know that's a massive pivot. I'm wondering, what did that teach you about love and identity?
Yeah, so after in my last band we did this massive US tour. We did 55 colleges. And then
Whoa.
it went really well, and then But at the end of the tour, my father was like terminal, he was terminally ill. He had a couple of years left to live, and my mom was really struggling to care for him. So but I had a chance to tour America again, and it's like everyone's dream, if you're in a band, like in Australia. Oh my God, you're gonna tour America in a tour bus, and but I felt like, I gotta help my dad. I I didn't want him to feel like he was gonna die alone in the last couple of years of his life, and my mom was really struggling. So I just like said, like, fuck it, man. I just went back to Singapore and I just helped my mom and my family care for my dad over the last 3 years of his life. And it was very challenging, you know, because like I thought, like, I believe in love and all and kindness and compassion. And you know what? It's like really easy to practice all of these things with your friends, you know, and like with people you don't really know. But
Hmm.
then when you're faced to do that stuff with like your family or some people who really challenge you or you're like karmically bond. It's like really like doing the masterclass, advanced level lesson kind of thing. Like I did that every day for 3 years, So it really, really challenged me into like how much do I actually believe in the things that I believe in. And it turned out to be the most beautiful learning experience of my life and one of the best decisions I ever did because in the process of caring for I guess a dying parent, I healed so many things in myself in that process. It's beautiful. It's like you don't even need to do therapy or like kind of figure out what's going on. It just happens because you're being forced to practice unconditional love on a daily basis,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's very
really.
powerful. It's very powerful. It just sorts out a lot of things for you, you know.
Mm. Yeah, that's really
So it changed
beautiful.
me. It made me just happier, and I feel I did the right thing. I mean, I know I did the right thing, and I know love is the most powerful thing.
I agree. We need more of it, and I think I'm sure your mom also was so grateful to have you there supporting in that way and to build deeper bonds and just have that growth and grief is such a like a duality to that feeling and emotion. And I remember that time frame of our friendship, and I was just like, I respect him so much for doing that. And I think in that time you also pivoted to website development.
Yeah. So because I used to alternate days with my mom. I'd stay over at the hospital, with my dad. Because he didn't like being alone. So, uh, obviously I can't bring like a guitar into the hospital and play it back. So I started studying online. So I did all these courses on Udemy, and Udacity, and I started learning programming, and I just thought, okay, I just better learn something, man. So I just upskilled and learned all this web development stuff, and so I'll be like, just doing all the online courses while my dad's sleeping on the bed, and yeah, and then I started my own business.
Amazing. Yeah. Udemy, I'm quite familiar with. I feel like during the pandemic as well, a lot of people were trying to figure out ways to grow and to distract themselves. And I definitely took like 5 meditation certifications and so many different courses. And I have used them in different ways, but at the time I was just like, I need to be learning. I need to be doing something with my time. And I'm
Yeah,
wondering if did it feel like it was you were starting over or hiding a part of yourself during that time?
I think well, I felt like, I honestly felt like my chance to have a professional music career was over. You know, I I I'm this dude that came from Singapore, ended up in Australia, became an Australian citizen, and then somehow managed to, tour America, and I got to meet like my heroes, and I was like, maybe I thought to myself, maybe that's as far as it'll ever go. I mean, I've done a lot more than some of my friends who are musicians, and I better figure out what I should do the rest of my life, man. You know, and so yeah, I just kind of felt like I guess I just have to move on and do something else because I don't think this is gonna be a thing.
Mm.
So that's why I decided to learn web development and get into something that could make me money. back in Australia.
And what time frame are we talking about now? Like what year is this or was that?
This was like pre-COVID, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, my father passed away just before COVID started, I think. Yeah, and so yeah, I know I mean, I kind of just started to learn stuff and try to do some freelance work online, and then after he passed away, I moved back to Australia,
Okay.
and that's when I started to get into the web development stuff here.
And your business, I feel like you got into the tech space at a good time. I mean, I know obviously a lot of things are remote now, but like very cool to have essentially a location independent or some level of location freedom to that type of role or
Yeah,
business.
it does help. It does help. Which is why I did wanted to do something tech related because you know I wanted to be, you know, like mobile and be able to work from anywhere. And the tech jobs are the ones that support that kind of lifestyle really easily. And you get paid, you know, better per hour
For
than
sure.
other jobs I could have done, you know. So that's why I want to do that. But
Absolutely.
yeah, no, it was good. It was good. I mean, it's all been part of the journey.
Absolutely. And just talking about dreams and your father, I know that, this came to you in a dream of your father nudging you back into music. And that really gave me chills when I was reading that. I just thought I feel like I feel so deeply like these intuitive hits, these synchronicities, these signs. And so like the dream world is really interesting to me. And I'm wondering if you can share what happened in that dream.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's really like one of the greatest dreams I've had in my life, you know, very vivid. Um, so, you know, I was back in Melbourne. In a way, I given up on my own dream and I was helping other people achieve their dreams, you know. So I was helping a lot of like, you know, educators and small business owners, creatives, just try to build their websites, get new clients, and try to help them get to where they want. I was helping people get to where they want to get, and you know, I found a lot of joy in doing that. I felt like I was being of service, and if I can't make my dream come true, at least I help other people make their dreams come true. It's not that bad, you know. That's kind of like what drove me. Um, and I was playing a lot of guitar. Like I always play guitar. Like I was still practicing guitar at home. You know, I made a list of like I'm gonna learn how to play these 10 guitar solos, you know, all the iconic guitar solos like, you know, like Santana, Pink Floyd, John Mayer,
Nice.
Eric Clapton, B.B. King, all that kind of stuff. And I just used to practice and everything, but I felt like unfulfilled, you know. It was unfulfilled. In a way, I was depressed without realizing it, you know. And then one day I just had this dream and I saw my dad and in the dream he was in a pub and he was dressed as a university professor because his whole life he wanted to be a university professor. That was like his passion, but he couldn't do it. So he was a social worker, but he wanted to do like social work research and everything. But he was there as the thing he wanted to be in his life, you know. So I saw him sitting there, and
Oh.
he looked really happy, and he was drinking beers with his two best friends who had also died. You know, so it's all these dead guys. They went to this like you know pub for dead guys, and they were all drinking together. You know, and then one of the dudes asked my dad, "Hey, Velu, why are you here?" And he said, "Oh, I'm here to see my son's new band. You know, my son is writing the best music of his life. You have to stay and watch the concert." You know, and at that moment I woke up because I was so stunned and I had tears in my eyes because I had totally given up on my dream and I hadn't even written a song and I dreamt my father talking about me writing the best music of my life. You know, oh man, it was such a powerful dream. And then at that moment I decided like, you know, fuck it, man. I'm just gonna try again. I don't care. Whatever happens, I just need to keep making music and putting it out into the world because, you know, my dad has said come from the other side and told me that, you know, he's seen me do the best things in my life because of music. And I was like, you know, fuck it, man. You know, I don't care. I have nothing left to prove, but everything to give, you know, and I'm just gonna pour my heart into music like I don't care, you know. And that's what I decided to do. And then the first song I wrote after that dream was the song Love Has Set You Free, which is coming out soon. And that's the song for my father based on that dream.
Yes, let's talk about it. Well, actually, first, one thing you mentioned from the dream that I noticed is that how he was dressed as a university professor and had this vision of you, which was also kind of a dream that you had with like the music that you were releasing and like the best music you've released. It was like kind of like two parallel dreams happening at the same time, like a dream that he had with his role as the university professor, a dream of you like going for it with your music, and then this like other liminal dream space that you were having that dream within the dream within the dream. Not to get too wild, but I just put
It
that all
sounds like
together.
Inception, man.
It's just like, wow. So that's very cool. But let's talk about Love Has Set You Free out July 9th. And this song feels like a spiritual release. I know you mentioned it is about your father. And I'm wondering if you can walk us through what this track means to you.
Well, songs honoring my dad, you
Hmm.
know. He's one of my heroes. I guess it's a song about like, about grieving, grieving loss. Not like, breaking up with a relationship kind of loss. It's like really deep, like losing a loved one kind of loss. Like, going through that grieving and healing through remembering why the things that you love about the people that you've lost, and you take those things and you put it in you, and you just keep going and chasing the things that you love to do and shining their light through you. That's what the song's about to me.
Absolutely. And what was it like to record this one? Were there any moments in the studio that surprised you or like something emotional in the process of recording?
Well, by the time I recorded the song in the studio, I pretty much knew what I wanted to do. But like this was the first song I wrote after like leaving the band I was in before, and so I was very lost. Like I didn't know what to do. Like so I experimented with a lot of different things. Like the first version of the song sounded like a Motown song, you know. And then there was like a blues version, there was like a reggae version, and I just tried all sorts of different things, drove myself crazy trying to figure out what to do because I wanted to try doing this as a like a solo artist kind of thing. So I experimented recording just at home kind of thing. And eventually, I just like, no, it's just gotta rock. It's gotta be a powerful, uplifting
It's gotta
rock song.
be.
That makes
Yes.
people like, oh yeah, I can do it. I can do it. Yes, I can still do it. You know, and that's how it landed. And by the time I started playing the song, oh yeah, I spent like 9 months in Melbourne playing every single open mic. About
Wow.
2 to 3 times a week, just to just kind of test out all my songs and to kind of build a bit of a following at the open mic scene.
That's
Uh,
amazing. I love going to open mics. I always feel like they're
Yeah,
so
so there
brave.
are about 21 open mics I went to. 21, I think. I used to frequent regularly. In fact, all the people that come to my shows now are all people that have seen me at the open mics. Um,
That's
and
incredible. So it works. You were able to build a community through that.
yeah, yeah, just I started from the ground up on um, but performing my songs at the open mics and playing guitar solos on Instagram.
I love your Instagram. Everything you do is
Thanks.
so uplifting to me. Like you just have a good vibe. I think that's what people are able to pick up on with your music, which I think is what the world needs more of, and that somehow it feels elusive to find sometimes. But with you, I
Yeah.
always, whenever something of yours pops up, I'm always just like, oh, like it feels just like a warm hug, even from the other side
Oh,
of the
thanks.
world. Yeah, absolutely. And I want to talk about your full length debut album that's dropping in November. So, what's the through line of this record, and what do you hope people feel when they listen to it?
Sorry, what was the first thing you said?
So just wanted to like pivot a little bit and talk about your full length album. Like
Yeah,
what are the themes or like the through line of this record? What would you say are
yeah.
some of the things that you would like people to feel or experience when they listen to it?
I would like them to feel love, be inspired, and to feel inspired to overcome whatever they're trying to deal with in their life, and just and to believe in themselves more, and just go
Absolutely.
out and just do whatever you gotta do, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, that's pretty much what what the songs are about. You know, it's about love, loss, and resilience.
I love that. I think those are all themes that make sense in all of our lives. So I'm so looking forward to your interpretation of them because I feel like you're able to put a really uplifting spin on sometimes things that can feel quite heavy,
Yeah,
like grief, like loss. And
yeah,
yeah, so I know you told me ten tracks
yeah, yeah.
coming up.
It's all been recorded. So I'm just releasing like a song every 2 months until the album comes out. So it's gonna be like four singles. Two have been released already. There's another two coming out, and then the fifth single comes out with the whole album. It's kind of staggering the releases to kind of build momentum and do the social media thing.
Yes, absolutely. Were there any songs that didn't make the album that you're kind of well, I know you're performing a live launch show with each single that's being released. So
Yeah,
are you performing other music outside of what's on the album or are there songs that didn't make the album?
yeah. There's like a couple of B-sides that I play live, and sometimes we just do like a cover.
And how do you personally define success for this project of your new debut album?
Well, just putting it out, like, the day I hold the CD or the vinyl in my hand, right? I have succeeded because that whole process of coming back from where I was and after what I went through to write these songs and to record it and to release it, that was is one of the biggest achievements of my life.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for you. It's such a huge achievement. You should definitely be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. And the world is going to get to experience what you've been creating for how long have you been working on this album?
Probably 3 years, about 3 years
Wow.
been writing these songs and trying to record it. Yeah.
It's
I wrote like,
time.
yeah, about 3 years.
Incredible. Well, we're going to move into the rapid fire. So, this is actually my first time doing this, but I want to do this with every guest episode. So, it
Yeah.
is a quick fire round of optimistical. And we
I
are
like the
going
name
to
Optimistical.
Me too. Okay, so most people are like, what does that mean? Or like, why do you spell it like that? And I'm like, the optimistic, obviously people know. And then mystical, I don't know if you've ever heard of that rapper. He's a rapper from New Orleans, was really popular back in like the 90s and 2000s. And I don't know, I just kind of like put them together. My friend and I, some years ago, put it together. And I actually asked him, I was like, we should do a show together. And he was like, not feeling that idea because he's not really public facing. But I was like, the optimistical, it's like the cosmic, it just encompasses so many things. It's like the optimism that I try to keep like in my regular life mixed in with like a little bit of like the ratchet and keeping it real. So that's kind of the
Yeah.
blend of what it is. So
No,
for
I like it. I
this,
like it.
thank
Catchy.
you. So for this quick fire round, you're gonna say the first thing that comes to your mind. So number
Okay.
one is what's a sound that instantly grounds you?
The sound of Om.
Mm,
Om.
that's very peaceful. I think mine would be the sound of trees rustling.
That's peaceful too.
It's peaceful. You know, how people have those like little sound machines that play like the waves or the whatever. I was like, that's
I
what
know
this
you get
question made
those
me
apps.
think of. Yeah. And I was like, that's what I could
Puts
play
you
on
to
repeat.
sleep.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
What's one ritual or habit that keeps you mentally or emotionally well?
Exercise.
Mm. What kind of exercise? Like, what do you
Just
like to
going to
do?
the gym,
Okay.
doing weight. Yeah, weight training.
I've never been to a gym before, like in my entire life. I love exercising, but I don't know how to use the equipment. I've been thinking about lately maybe it would be a good opportunity to start, but exercise sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. What is a lyric you've written that still surprises you? A lyric you've written that still surprises you.
There's the song on my album. It's like an epic song. It's a epic, like 6 minute, 6.5 minute journey, kind of very inspired by Santana. There's a line that says, my plane. It's based on another dream I had. Um, it says, my plane went down over Darwin. Honestly, I felt relieved. I wouldn't have to deal with the rest of my life.
Wow. 6.5 minutes. That's not, what's the name of that
Yeah.
track? So I can know when I listen to the album.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. All right. And I know we kind of touched on this earlier, but the fourth question is a place that healed you.
Healed me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, first thing that comes to mind is this ashram in India in this village called Puttapati, and I spent a lot of time there. Uh, when I was like down and out, I went there and it healed me,
Mm.
and I got to
I
meet my guru.
I always hear so many just deeply spiritual and beautiful stories coming from India. Do you think that that is somewhere you would like to travel back to, or do you have like any upcoming travels in mind? This is not related to the
Not
rapid
really.
fire,
I
but it
mean,
just made me
a
think of it.
lot of my traveling is very music related.
Mm.
I would love to go to come back to Austin and
Yay!
spend some time in Nashville. Just bring my acoustic guitar, play open mics. That's
Yes.
like my next travel plan.
Yes. Music
Yeah.
cities. You would thrive there. And number
Yeah,
five,
I like music cities and yeah,
awesome. Number five is what does reinvention mean to you in one word?
letting go.
Mm,
That's two
amazing.
words.
No, but I mean, I get it. I get it for sure. I feel like I think I had this episode or like the theme of this episode being like rock and reinvention and reclaiming your voice. And I love a good alliteration, but I love that you said that because there is so much in the reinvention and like having that space to let go. Like it's definitely an art and a practice. And the last question I like to ask my guests is what is one thing you are currently listening to, reading, or watching right now?
Well, I'm reading this book, Story of B.B. King.
Ooh.
I think it's the best, one of the best autobiographies of his life. Very inspiring man. Listening to, I love the new Turnstile album. Um, and watching, there's this K-pop Demon Slayer anime on Netflix.
I
I think that's what
I
it's
was
called.
like, where is this going? K-pop Demon Slayer.
K-pop Demon Hunters.
That's the name of it
Yeah, it's great.
on Netflix.
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. I haven't really gotten into any anime and everybody's
Oh, it's
just
great. My next music video is gonna be done in anime.
really? Are you
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you know how to do that or are you hiring
No, I
someone?
don't.
That's incredible. That's something really unique that I definitely haven't seen. I'm so excited. We're gonna have to talk more after this interview because I know it's getting longer, but yeah, I appreciate you so much for being here and for sharing your story with us. And I can't wait for the world to hear your new album and your single "Love Has Set You Free." And the album is coming out in November. Can you tell people where they can find you, follow the journey, and hear the music?
Yeah, just look me up, Sanny Veloo, SANNYVELOO. You can find me on my website, Instagram, Twitter. That's pretty much where. No, not Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. I haven't even figured out how to use Twitter, you know.
Me
And
neither.
then sometimes I post on Threads. YouTube a lot. You can do a lot of YouTube stuff, you know. But mostly Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Are the singles and the videos, are they dropping on YouTube first or are you
Yeah,
releasing
they're all YouTube,
everywhere? Okay.
Spotify, everywhere. It's all everywhere.
Okay, we'll
It's
put the links in the show notes, of course.
yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you
Thank you.
so much for being here and I appreciate you and yeah, we'll
I
catch up
appreciate
soon.
you
Maybe
too.
maybe I'll come back to Melbourne or you come back to Austin. We'll make it happen.
We will.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm Misha Iko, and this has been another episode of The Optimistical Show. Remember, reinvention is rarely comfortable, but it's always worth it. See you in the next one. So you found my cozy corner of the internet. Stay a while. To learn more about what's happening over here, download my free PDF, 9 Ways to Explore an Unconventional Lifestyle. I welcome your comments and shares. Let's keep the curiosity and connection going. Thank you for joining me on the Optimistical Show. And remember, shake your ass, but watch your self-awareness. Paz y amor.